Good afternoon and welcome to San Angelo Live. It's Wednesday. This is the Political Desk. I'm Yantis Green and we are here with Meet the Candidates. I am talking today with Tom Daniel, who is a candidate for Tom Green County Justice of the Peace in Precinct 2. Tom, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
It's good to have you here, and we'll talk about a little bit about Precinct 2, but the Justice of the Peace race, it's coming up pretty quick. The election is March 1st, and early voting starts
February 14th.
February 14th on Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir.
So what I'd like to do is start out with a little bit about who you are. So let's talk about your education and experience. Who is Tom Daniel?
Well, I was raised in San Antonio. I graduated from Texas Military Institute in 1983. I went to college in Sul Ross in Alpine, Texas, where I met my wife. We married in '89, and I started law enforcement in Del Rio. I worked there on patrol for a year. Then I moved over to criminal investigations, did that for 2 years. Then I got recruited by the governor's office, had a task force back in the day.
Okay.
And I got recruited to work interdiction in Sanderson, Texas, and I did that for 5 years.
Okay.
We had my oldest son. We decided we wanted more opportunity, and we moved to San Angelo. I've been here for 25 years.
Okay. And in law enforcement all the time?
Yes, sir. 32 years.
32 years. That's great. And we have one mutual acquaintance, and that would be Russell Smith, who's a former police chief at San Angelo, and he's also a writer.
Yes, sir.
And that has something to do with Sanderson.
Right. Russell Smith was the chief of police that hired me when I came here. We're still friends to this day. He was JP after he retired, and I've kind of used him as a mentor and a sounding board to prep myself for when I was ready to retire and become a justice of the peace. Right. I consider him a good friend. And
he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I've known him a long time. So let's talk about the Justice of the Peace Office, particularly with Precinct 2. The Justice of the Peace is one of two offices, statutory offices in Texas where you are a judge, but you don't have to have a degree in law. The other is county judge, and we hear a lot about that locally. But what do justices of the peace do? There's a sort of the court of the people, the people's court, and that's more likely where individuals are going to first come in contact with a judge. What are the parameters of the justice of the peace court?
Well, I think you said it. That's the most common court for people to have to go in front of a judge. Yeah. It covers if you get a citation from the game wardens or highway patrol or the county, maybe the lake. Mm-hmm. They also handle protective orders. Okay. They sign search warrants. Obviously, they marry people, declare people dead. They can order autopsies if it's a suspicious death. So it's a wide-ranging office that you don't have to have a law degree, but I think my experience in law enforcement has prepped me for this. I've done hours and hours of research. I've been friends with a lot of JPs. I've sat in Justice of the Peace Court for the last several years to get a feel for it. So it's not something brand new. I understand the law. I teach at the Police Academy. I teach penal code, code of criminal procedure, professionalism, ethics. So I think it gave me a pretty good base to go in.
Now, that's also the starting line, the baseline for jury trials. So occasionally there'll be a jury trial in a Justice of the Peace Court. So in Tom Green County, what is going on now is the current Justice of the Peace is J.P. McGuire, and he is not running for re-election. So that's why we're having an election.
Yes, sir.
In this particular election, as we said, early voting starts in a couple of weeks, and the primary is in March. Primary is March 1st. And then there is no independent running. There's not a Democrat running in Tom Green County. So the winner of the March 1st race will be the guy. He'll be sworn in on January 1st of 2023.
Correct.
All right. In order to win a race, you need the most votes. So this is the point where I'm going to kind of step back and not ask any questions, and this is where you get to go straight to the voters and make your case. Why did the voters need to vote for Tom Daniel? So this is take as long as you want, cover as many points as you want, and we'll go from there. But this is your opportunity, and there's your camera, and there's the voters.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've got 32 years experience. I'm going to retire next month. 25 years with the San Angelo Police Department.
All right.
Like I said, I've got the training and experience. I'm pretty good at my job. I've always done a very good job. I've always all my performance evaluations are always meets or exceeds expectations.
Yeah.
I've done everything I think I wanted to do in law enforcement. I've worked patrol. I've worked narcotics extensively. I've worked in criminal investigations.
Okay.
I do polygraphs. I think it's given me a firm foundation talking with people and dealing with people's issues.
Okay.
I think I'm fair-minded,
Yeah.
a little more mature. I think I can make fair decisions for both sides. And I think that's the most important part for a justice of the peace is to listen to both sides. Everyone wants their moment in court, and I think as an American, it's protected right under the Constitution. And right, wrong, or indifferent, they deserve a chance to come in front of a judge and let their opinions be heard, and then have a judge make a sound decision. I don't make hasty decisions. I tend to do my research before I decide on something.
Okay.
Kind of lost for a second.
Oh, that's okay.
Lost my train of thought. I think the Justice of the Peace is a very important office, like you said earlier. It handles citations, minor infractions. It handles civil cases up to $20,000.
Okay.
That covers a wide range of issues. I know right now the court system, because of COVID, has a backlog.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed. It needs to be taken care of expediently, but still give everyone a chance to be heard and give them their time.
That's right, and we're hoping that COVID goes away enough that we can manage to get the wheels of those dockets turning. And if it's not turning, the docket's not moving at the JP courts, it's not moving at the courts at law, and it's not moving at the district courts.
Right.
So we hope we're coming out of that.
I hope so. Like I said, everyone deserves their day.
Yeah.
And have some compassion and some mercy and some understanding from a judge. I think that's important. Everyone deserves that. I think I'm qualified. I'm ready.
This is one of those races that's you have to get through the first 3 pages of the ballot, which is statewide offices, before you get down to the county offices. So we're encouraging voters to go through every race before they cast that ballot and make sure that they get to the local races, which include Justice of the Peace and Precinct 2. Again, early voting starts February 14th. Election day is March 4th, primary day. How can voters get hold of you between now and then? How can they learn more about you?
Well, I have a Facebook page. I'll have cards and handouts and signs. Anyone's welcome to call me at any time. My phone number's on everything. Like I said, I have a web page. I have a personal page.
Okay.
If anyone has any comments or suggestions or questions, I'm available whenever.
All right, that's great.
Be happy to answer anybody's questions.
Very good. Is there anything that I failed to ask? Anything else that you would like to share with the voters in the audience?
No, I just consider myself a well-rounded candidate. I think I'm a good choice. I'm going to be fair and equitable to everyone who comes before the court and try to do the very best job I can. I would like to take a moment and thank all the clerks that work for the Justice of the Peace offices. They're the backbone. They do the heavy lifting. They're underappreciated, but I've visited several of their offices and I've spoken to the clerks, and that's a tough job. So if I'm elected, I think they deserve more thanks. And
well, good. We deal with those folks as well on a regular basis, and we appreciate the job they do.
Unbelievable.
All right. So, Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, the race again in the Republican primaries is underway. Early voting starts February 14th. Election Day, March 1st. There are other races on the ballot, and we are sponsoring a debate, actually a forum, a candidate forum for Precinct 4 County Commissioner candidates on Thursday at 6 p.m. in the Sug Room at the Stevens Library downtown. And that is a contested race, and we expect to see a lot of good things coming from those candidates again. 6 o'clock Thursday evening, we'll stream that forum live right here on San Angelo Live and Facebook and YouTube. So check us out then, and we'll be back next week with more of Meet the Candidates. Until then, for San Angelo Live, I'm Yantis Green.